Yes, welcome back from that very short break, and of course thank you for being here with us still and not changing that channel. Of course, I'm still with Mr. Jeff from UMA, who is telling us about the seasonal entertainment and everything that comes with it. So Mr. Jeff, before the break we were still discussing about the seasonal entertainment, and now I really wanted to know what are the main revenue streams for seasonal entertainment businesses in Uganda? For example, ticket sales, sponsorship, accessories, mechanism, and all that.
So usually during the festive season, events the main revenue source, and the events have multiple layers to them. For events in bars, obviously the food, alcohol, all of that, the consumption really goes up. And then, of course, the tickets to these events. Some of them are actually free because the business model for the bar owners is to bring the artists and then sell as much alcohol as they can and food. Yeah, but on concerts as well, there's usually for independent events at concerts, they also tend to take revenue from beverages that now they own, because there's no bar owner there. You have to bring your own beverages, you have to bring your own alcohol. And of course the tickets. And I've noticed, for example, for the premium events, the price tag for VIP tickets is going up every year.
Yes, it does.
And this year
20,000 used to be VIP. You pay 20,000 and you're looking at the ones who paid 5K like, oh, what's wrong with you?
Oh yes, so they're trying to make as much money as possible from the same audience, the same number of people.
Yes.
Yeah, because typically in a business that you either make money from the same person by the standard price, or you add value. So what they're doing is try and add value and charge more for the same number of people.
Yes.
So there's now sometimes 2 categories of VIP, or even 3 categories of VIP. So the people that really feel they want to floss and show that they have the money to spend, they pay the premium, the super premium,
yes.
and the promoters get to make more money.
Okay. Do these events have any wider social or cultural impacts on Ugandan society?
Yes, the events do have. For example, the nature performances, and the nature performances tend to be defined by one, say the style of dancing, the style of dressing. As a country, we are highly influenced by foreign content. So it means we are losing touch with originality or inspiration from our own homegrown cultural influences. I've noticed most of the urban concerts, they are tending to mimic what you would see at an international concert, like at a Beyonce concert. You will see Shiba trying to dress
come
up
from the sky, just like her, and dress up like
yes,
her. Yes,
they're trying to mimic that, and we're not seeing any influence of our own touch, like something that feels very Ugandan.
Yes.
All I see is what I would see at a European concert or an American concert. So we're losing a bit of our cultural heritage in there. We could do some really unique, still world-class quality concerts, but with a bit of a creative touch that taps into our cultural heritage. But I don't think we're doing enough of that. And other countries are doing that. I mean, when you watch South Africans, you see that there's a slight influence from their culture,
yes.
and it taps into, and I think that could affect our potential to grow, because as we aspire to hit the world stage, have our artists headline at global concerts, we will not have anything unique to offer, because we
are doing what everybody else
does. Yeah, the global
does,
audiences have already seen that.
Yes.
So I think it's very important that we start purposefully and intentionally try to be original or take some inspiration from our cultural heritage. This will add that Midas touch that will give us some uniqueness and allow us to stand out. Otherwise, we are just going to be drowning in the global crowd.
Of course. Are there any specific features or trends specific to Uganda's December entertainment scene?
The trends I have observed are mostly the growth of the fan base. In the past, we've had concerts, and then you would see that beyond a certain point, there was a risk of concerts failing. But starting early this year, I noticed that, for example, during the Alien Skin concert,
yes.
There was the same time there was the Palacio concert, and both venues were filled.
Yes.
And which means now we have enough funds to fill multiple venues at the same time, and this seems to be going to change the way concerts are organized. That means more promoters can have
more than one event.
More than one event.
Yes.
And while all of that was happening, still the smaller ones in the bars were going on as well.
Yes.
So this is going to shape how decisions are made in the future, because now promoters can be more bold about some of these decisions.
Oh, okay, thank you so much. We have our neighbors, Kenya, Tanzania, Rwanda, and of course we have Burundi. Are there some cultures or some things that can be copied by our entertainment industry from these countries, or we are okay the way we are?
I think we are slightly on different trajectories in terms of growth from between those countries. For example, Kenya is ahead of us on a technical level. Mm. They are great at production and understanding sound and gear, and we are catching up as well on that, but they're slightly ahead of us. And yes, we could borrow a few ideas from them on production and technical capabilities. However, on the side of content, in terms of the music, the comedy, and all this content, I think we are ahead of them. We have in terms of volumes, we have more talent. We also have more successful talent. Looks like for Uganda, we are supporting our people more. And the Kenyans are very hard on their money. Yes. They are not willing to pay, and we are willing to pay. So their artists are not growing as fast as we are. So that is preventing them from really beating us at that. So we don't have much to copy from them from that context. And then, of course, countries like Burundi are way behind or behind us. They don't have the same, basically also because of the population, but they don't have the same volume of funds, they don't have the same volume of events happening, and also technical capacity to organize. So we don't have much to learn from them. Maybe Rwanda has a lot of great talent. They may not have the same level of capacity that we do, and also because their population is smaller, but I think they've really caught up in terms of quality of talent. And also their productions are quickly matching up with us. So we could learn a thing or two from what they are doing, and I'm seeing they are making great effort to offer something totally unique. Okay. That's a direction we could also keep our eyes open about.
Okay, so what are some of the biggest challenges our artists in Uganda are facing when it comes to funding, competition from the international artists, competition from fellow artists, and pressure from the fans, especially?
So our artists are facing a myriad of challenges. Some of them are informed by the general growth of the industry globally. If you may notice now, the options for talent are so many. Any single fan now has probably 1,000 times more options to pick from when it comes to music. At any one given moment, if you're the kind who listens using DSPs like Spotify or Apple Music, you'll find that you're spoiled for choice. Yeah. Now, if you're an artist, that's not a good thing, because you can make all your best effort to promote your music, to create great music, but because there's too many options, there's a high chance of being missed out. So yes, artists are going to increasingly struggle to be noticed, because the options are too many. The crowd from which you're trying to stand out from is so huge that it's going to be really hard. But also the other challenge is that our artists have not fully gained knowledge on the business fundamentals of music. So because of that, they are leaving a lot of money on the table. This is seen through, for example, the way music is distributed on digital platforms. Ugandans, for example, are focused too much on YouTube and TikTok, but they still haven't fully figured out how to monetize these platforms. The most common, for example, option that Ugandan artists are using is monetizing through ads. A system called AdSense on YouTube that allows them to take revenue share from ads. But these DSPs have multiple layers through which they pay artists. And these artists are not tapping into these layers. For example, YouTube pays maybe 3 different ways. It pays through AdSense, it pays through publishing, it pays through other corporate channels. So if you have them set up, then you're able to collect that money. So artists are not earning enough because they are not collecting enough. And they're not collecting enough because they don't understand how to do it. So a big part of what we are trying to do also through UMA is to make sure that we create a knowledge base that we can start sharing through trainings and workshops and master classes to enable more artists to understand how to tap into these opportunities. But also promotion is becoming very difficult for artists, and that's a huge challenge. It's seen through, for example, radio and TV. At any one moment, I'm sure TV stations are receiving hundreds of videos, and there's only 24 hours in a day. So in those hours, there's only so much music you can play, and that is also further compounded by the fact that in Uganda we mostly have general purpose programming, which means that for all our media houses, which means that we have a bit of this and that, and there's very little allocated to music or to that kind of content. So in that little space, everyone is trying to take a piece of the pie. So many artists will be dropped. And the first victims are artists from rural areas, artists from upcountry. They don't have the access just like the artists that live in the urban areas in Kampala. The artists in Kampala are going to be hounding the program, the program managers for the stations, the presenters, the controllers, make sure that they notice them, they have relationships with them, which you can't do if you're in Mbale, because you can't come to Kampala and do that every day. So there's a chance that your music will never see the light of day. So we are missing out on so much great talent because they can't get themselves to the front of the queue.
Yes. So you talked about artists not earning enough. Could this be the reason why artists overbook, they get paid and they actually don't deliver what they're supposed to deliver on time? And usually you find that an artist has an event in Masaka and has to be back in 2 hours to Kampala to perform in Kololo. And before you know it, we have accidents. And you know the seasonal time, how it is, the accidents and the too much drinking. So the artists keep getting overbooked because they earn less. So how has UMA actually put up any law or any rule to actually help the artists?
So yes, artists are not earning enough, not earning enough to keep for themselves and to also to reinvest in their craft. In their craft, yes. Yeah. So the biggest problem is there's not enough to reinvest in their craft so that they can put up, better performances or better music videos. So they are struggling to like you said, to take as many bookings as they can. Yes. And you find that many artists cannot afford to hire session players so that maybe they can rehearse and have a great live performance. They only often do that when they've been, the promoter, whoever has hired them, has dictated that they do that. But on their own, they would be happy to do that, but the cost is, they can't afford it. So as UMA, we are developing partnerships with different entities. For example, we're trying closely to lobby government to provide resources so that these things can be put in place. And I think we have some traction going, as you may have heard lately. And then too, we are also trying to draw partnerships with other third parties, like organizations that have an interest in the creative industries to work with us,
Yes.
to support. And then 3, we are also trying to plug into the global music industry. Recently, we attended the Music in Africa Access Conference, which was in Dar es Salaam, and personally I was there. And the whole of Africa was there in the context of the key decision makers. And most times the decisions to be featured at, say, a festival or a concert somewhere around the world begins with the people that make the decisions. And most of our artists are not in those spaces where those decisions are being made. And they're not getting an opportunity to interface. But as an association, we are making a lot of effort to ensure that we consistently start appearing in those spaces, so we engage and we can lobby for our artists to be selected to be on those rosters.
Yes. Okay, as we conclude, I wanted us to talk about the copyright in the Ugandan music industry, because Ugandans were complaining a lot. You just go get a song, you go to Google, you type the song and you get it for free. So Ugandans were complaining about the copyright and everything. So as Uma, how has it worked with the musicians to see that there is a copyright for the music, and which kind of music is protected if the copyright is there on the songs? So how is this working?
So we've had a challenge. We have the copyright law, which was enacted in 2006, and one of the biggest challenge we've been facing, artists don't know how to use the copyright law.
Okay.
So as UMA, we realized this gap, and we've started a campaign or heavy advocacy around raising awareness of the current copyright law and how it works. But also, too, we've been a very big active player alongside so many other stakeholders in lobbying for the amendment of the current copyright law to ensure that it takes care of us much better than it is doing currently.
Yes.
And one of the things we are trying to sort out is the fact that by the time the current law was enacted in 2006, we were just transitioning from the analog to the digital era. And all the great opportunities that have been presented by the digital music world were not really exploited by the law. So we are trying to amend the law to make that happen. We've lobbied enough for the government to support that process, and they have done that. Okay. The whole of this year we've been very busy with consultations, and we actually had the final the validation meeting on happening yesterday but one to fine-tune the details of the amendments. We are very hopeful, we are very enthusiastic that when this law passes, the amendment passes, great things are going to come for artists. The copyright law is very fundamental in shaping how artists monetize their music, most especially today in the digital space. For every work, there's 2 copyrights in it: copyright in the sound recording and copyright in the composition. But for a long time, Ugandans were only focusing on copyright in the sound recording because we didn't know how to exploit the other side of copyright. And that was also through tapes and CDs. But now, the digital world allows us and makes it easy to exploit copyright in its full context. And also allows us to be able to make money from music beyond concerts. Which means that artists could be making money while they're sleeping. We have a new generation of artists that are beginning to appreciate those dynamics. Artists like Joe Baraka, if you notice that he's been very active in the digital space. He's very big on Spotify, and because of his active presence on Spotify and the other DSPs, he's also very active on the other DSPs, but most especially I think Spotify. He's grown audiences in different parts of Africa, even all over the world. He's had concerts in South Africa, in Nigeria, in London. We're looking forward to more artists appreciating those dynamics of how to fully exploit your copyright through the digital space and being able to grow audiences in non-traditional spaces, because Ugandans are focused too much on Uganda. And the whole world is available for the taking. And those who understand it will take it, and they will not wait for anyone's local approval.
Speaking of the whole world, what is UMA doing to put the music, Ugandan music, on international market or for Ugandan music to go global?
Like I just explained a little earlier,
Yes.
that we are setting up partnerships. For example, right now, we've been actively working with IFPI.
Yes.
IFPI is the International Federation of Phonographic Industries. They control the recording industry worldwide. The recording industry worldwide is controlled through about 70 organizations, starting with the American organization called the Recording Industry Association of America, which has its members, including all the majors. The majors is the biggest record labels that own 80% of the world's music, including Sony, Universal, Warner. These record companies are all working very closely together through these organizations. And they use the same organizations to extend their tentacles all over the world. So look, in the region in sub-Saharan Africa, we work with the IFPI office based in Nairobi, and we are trying to actively mobilize our local industry to be a part of this global scene. For example, in March next year, we have a conference for sub-Saharan record labels. It's going to be in Dar es Salaam, and we will be there as UMA. We've also mobilized our Ugandan record labels to be there, and that's just one aspect of it. Two, we're also working very closely with organizers of festivals all over the continent and in Europe, US. We've engaged organizers of festivals in Southern Africa, in Zimbabwe. For example, organizations like Airground, we have a member, a Ugandan who is already big on there's a big festival called Womex. It's a music market, but it's also a festival. And we're there, we're encouraging Ugandans to be a part of these international festivals. And we are really growing our networks. We've also been engaging with UCC and encouraging them to also invest in globalizing Ugandan music. And earlier this year, they were able to invite managers and experts from the US music industry to connect them with us so that we can work with them to push our music to the US market. So we are doing a lot in the background. Most of it is not visible, but we believe the fruits will be visible in not so far future.
So what are the hopes for the future of the Ugandan music industry?
The future of the Ugandan music industry, I think, is huge. We get information here and there from all over the world, and they tell us there's a lot of potential. We just haven't really harnessed it yet. And the future is that once that potential is harnessed, we're going to have more Ugandan artists on the global stage taking a piece of that pie, from the Burna Boys and the Davidos and all these guys who are, and the South Africans who are already enjoying that pie. So yes, we are going for it, and we are working very hard. We have local record labels demonstrating that, like Swang's Avenue. You see how they are really working hard to position their artists for the world stage. We think that we are going to be a very big part of that story not far from now. Okay.
So for any upcoming artist that is watching you right now, what advice would you have for him or her right now?
Upcoming artists, I strongly encourage you to commit time to learning the inner workings of the industry. Learn the secrets of the music industry as much as possible, the business fundamentals. Learn about copyright, how it works, and how you can secure the copyright in your music. Learn about split sheets so that you make sure all the people you work with are also secured. Learn as much as you can about music distribution so that you understand how your music can reach the world in a way that is monetized for you to benefit from in the long run, and you don't lose your money. Learn as much as you can, and then also build your network. In the end, with this flood of talent and music, it's going to be very hard to break through without strong networks. You'll need favors, you'll need people who can mention your name in rooms where you can't be, in places where you can't be. So strengthen your network, and the first step to doing that is to join some kind of association, and I strongly encourage you to join Uganda Musicians Association so that you can start on that path.
Okay, and festive season message for the viewers, and you can say bye to them as we leave.
Yeah, for the viewers, during the festive season, there's going to be a lot of fun, but take care as much as you can. Your security starts with you. try and make sure you really watch your wallet. There's a lot of people who are planning to come for it. As you go to the concert, while you are at the concert, make sure that is taken care of. If you go to an event and you see that the security is not good, please just withdraw and go elsewhere, because it's not safe to go to a concert where you could die. It's not a good idea. So if you feel like it doesn't look like it's really organized enough to protect you, don't go there. Go where your life is safe. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And of course, the copyright topic, we just touched it a little bit, but of course we're going to have you come back to the studio, and of course we shall discuss about the copyright wider and deeper about it. Of course, we've come to the end of the show right now, and of course I'm going to say thank you for being with us from 7 today, and of course today is Friday. I'm going to be seeing you again on Monday. Thank you so much for being with us. We love you so much. Have a lovely day.